you. Bless them with your dollars. They're supporting conservatism. They're supporting you. Just return it. Be great. And I know if you've seen these, this is the start of the Conservatives' Little Black Book. If you've seen at the bottom of this, there's one restaurant, Choco La Art, at 101 Elm Street. They're paying your sales tax today. If you go over there and visit them. The Artful Hand at 416 East 5th Street is serving free iced tea to all of you Tea Partiers if you just stop on by. So stop on by and give them some of your support. When we first announced where we were having this at, some people said, oh, and I got the emails. I'm not going to call any of them out because I think they learned their lesson. But some people emailed me and they said, wow, that's like 60 miles from my house. That's an hour trip for me, or that's a 2-hour trip for me. I don't know if I can do that. That's, I was going to barbecue and do stuff with my family. That sounds a little bit inconvenient. Inconvenience. Let's talk a second about inconvenience. One of the listeners to my show, one of the listeners at 97.1, and I love seeing her emails pop up in my inbox, Carolyn. I don't know if she's here today. She is! She's right there! Were you the one that emailed me about your husband serving and your brother serving? Okay, there's like 3 different Carolyns. She's very cool too. Carolyn, really sweet, wonderful woman, she emailed out to this big old group talking about inconvenience. And she said, you want to know what inconvenience is? Inconvenience is having to eat your MRE in the sand when it's 117 degrees outside in the desert in the shade. 117 degrees in the shade. Inconvenience is watching your best friend shot before your eyes because you're on foreign soil trying to maintain liberty to keep another attack from coming to the United States. That is inconvenience, if we're going to talk about inconvenience. My grandfather, God rest his soul, Howard Skaggs, was a gunner on the USS Alabama. He served in World War II. He was a very lanky, lean man, and he sat behind those guns and the artillery blast shredded his eardrums. He was exposed to radiation because he witnessed one of the atomic bomb explosions, and that radiation caused his cancer, which eventually took his life. He left his family, and he sacrificed so much for his country. And I think that him traveling across the ocean, my husband's grandfather being a dog face on the beaches of Normandy, traveling across the Atlantic, leaving your family, that's an inconvenience. But they look at it as a duty, as a privilege, as a blessing. You want to bless your fellow Americans by standing up and fighting. It is not an inconvenience. Never. You need to serve one another. You need to have a servant's heart. You need to serve your country. It is not an inconvenience. We've got to change our way of thinking, or we are never going to get out of this mess. Ever.
Are you listening, Congress?
Exactly. Defense of liberty starts from the ground up, not from the top down. A nation is only as good as its people. A nation is its people.
That's right.
I tell you, our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, our grandparents, you guys have done such a good job paying the cost for that freedom cost and ensuring our liberty that some of us, the closest that we have ever gotten to any sort of disenfranchisement, any sort of tyranny, has been watching it like Iran on our television screens. They've done such a fantastic job. I think a lot of us are spoiled. We don't know what indentured servitude is. We can't fathom what the people of Iran are going through right now. We see people being shot on the streets, but our men and women who have served have sacrificed so that we may never have to know what that cost. I think we've gotten a little bit spoiled. But I think we're seeing now. I think the apathy is gone. Like I said, the sleeping giant is awake. Definitely awake. I'm so happy that you all showed up here today. I was a little worried about the rain, but then I thought, we're conservatives. You know what? We don't care. We're going to trudge through the mud. We're going to trudge through the puddles. That's the least we can do for this country. The whole reason that I do what I do is because I am my grandfather's granddaughter. And what I'm doing, what Bill is doing, what all of us people who are getting involved in the grassroots, I consider this just a flicker to the bonfire of my grandfather's contribution, to the contribution of my husband's grandfather, to our aunts and uncles and friends, the people who are here in uniform today. If I look at you, I'll cry. We don't want that to happen. You can't have a crying activist. Come on. But I'm so glad to see you guys. This is such a wonderful grassroots movement, and there's been a lot of people say, well, who's the official head of this grassroots movement? The media is trying so hard. Who's the official group of this grassroots movement? Who is the professional activist here? It's a grassroots movement. They're shocked because it's something by the people, for the people, of the people. When you get people trying to jockey to represent a grassroots movement, you need to be suspicious of those people, because that's how we got the government we have right now. But this is the thing. The media and the government are having such a hard time realizing that we're just common people. Good grief. I studied journalism. I didn't do anything with that, obviously. Studied print journalism. I'm a housewife. I'm a Christian. I'm a mother. I'm a daughter. I'm all of that stuff first. The stuff that I do on radio, the stuff I write online, I don't live to work, I work to live. And my dog in this fight is my husband and my children and their future and the future of your children. You don't have to be a pedigreed person to be an activist, and that's what they're trying to tell you. And I know her name was brought up once, but this is the best example. Sarah Palin isn't liked by a lot of people. Have you ever seen such bigotry, such prejudice, such sexism? She's a common woman. She shoots moose. She rides a snowmobile. She enjoys her family. She enjoys the outdoors. She doesn't have this pedigree. They're trying to tell you, me, all of us, that you have to have a pedigree to represent the common people in an elected office or to be an activist or anything else. That's ridiculous. That's what they try to tell us, that you have to be fancy. Well, you have to go to an Ivy League school, and you have to dress in fantastic $500, $1,000 suits, and you have to drive a Bentley, and your last name has to be Kennedy or Cuomo or Carnahan. You don't have to be fancy pants. I tell you, money can't buy you sense. I see that a lot here in Missouri. Money can't get you change either. The common people, it takes a common person. You lose touch with everybody. You lose touch with what America is. So what I said on April 15th, a lot of people have forgotten what it is to be an American. Don't take this garbage that they're telling you, that you have to have a pedigree, you have to be fancy, you have to be a Carnahan to take office here in Missouri, whatever. Carnahans have done such a great job. I'm being totally sarcastic.